I've traveled 20 countries using my Mac Mini setup, so I bought a Magic Trackpad. And after a few months, I have something to tell you from the traveler perspective. So watch till the end if you want to know, do you actually need it or not. But before it, don't forget to like and sub if you want to see more videos about building some setups and using them on the road. So my name is Slash and I'm full-time traveler. You already know that. So it's very important for me to have a compact, light tech to work with me in the random Airbnb apartment. So I want to share my experience moving from mouse to trackpad, and do I need to do it too? So as you watch my previous video, you probably know that my cheap mouse was broken, and I recently, a few months ago, first time switched to the trackpad. I already had experience using MacBook for a few years, so it wasn't a problem for me, but to replace a mouse with the trackpad, that's something new. So let's unbox it and I will show you my experience. So I bought this trackpad 2 months ago in Malaysia for like 120 bucks or something like that. Not so cheap, I can say, but actually if you will think about it, it's not a mouse, that's the trackpad. So you can use gestures, you can use some shortcuts and a lot of other things which mouse can't do. The box is super white, clean, of course it's Apple, and inside the box we have only 3 items: the trackpad itself, the cable, and of course some papers. So this is trackpad with USB-C type of connection, which is pretty convenient as for me because I have everything with Type-C, almost, except for my Apple keyboard. So with this trackpad, I wanted to complete my entire Mac Mini setup to make it full Apple, except for my display. But anyway, let's get back to the trackpad. I choose the white version because it has no marks, it will be always clean, which is pretty important for me. So what about battery life? I didn't really count, but battery can last like, I don't know, few weeks, depending will we be switching off this trackpad or not. Maybe it can last 4 months, but I used it 2 months and I already charged it 2 times, which is not a problem at all, but I never switch it off. So, and the most important thing which I noticed recently, let me guys show you. Look at this, guys. It's gonna be Apple perfection. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Same size. It feels perfect. I don't know. So overall the material are premium, so you feel that you hold something worth 120 bucks. But what about using it? So let's talk about it right now. So as I said, I've been using this trackpad for about 2 months or maybe more, and I did everything. I play games, I edited videos. It works okay. It was pretty hard to get used to it for like 2 days, but the huge benefit of this one thing that you don't need any mouse pad at all, you can use it wherever you want. On the hands, on the legs, on the floor, on the bed. It will work perfect, just like you're using on a table. As for mouse, you understand, guys. It's pretty hard to use mouse in the bed. And you may ask a fair question, why am I using mouse in the bed anyway? So that's because we're watching some shows, movies, and I just connect my Mac Mini and use it like Apple TV. And it's pretty convenient to have wireless thing to control some stuff without getting up from the bed. It's pretty light, by the way, but not so light. For example, if I will compare, I might say they weigh like the same. They have the same weight, which is crazy. I don't know. I thought it's gonna be much lighter. So to get this trackpad correctly, you have to set up it well. You have different settings of this trackpad. You can assign some gestures. You can decide how many fingers you want to use. So a lot of settings. So it's pretty convenient, I must say. But the most beneficial thing of this is 3-finger drag or something like that. I don't know how to explain it, but commonly when you want to drag and drop something, you have to push it down, drag, and then release your finger. But using these 3 fingers, you have to just press your 3 fingers, drag it, and just release your fingers. So you don't have to press anything. Pretty cool way. If you don't know how to enable this option, you can do it in the settings. Actually, Apple has well-instructed guide how to do it on their website, so you can go and check it. For the first time, editing with this trackpad feels a bit wiggly. I don't know, not so convenient for the first time, but then I get used to it. Understood how to work with it. Actually, it's much better than using the mouse because you can scroll up, down, left, right immediately without scrolling this goddamn wheel. So working with this thing is pretty convenient. I can recommend you guys using it if you're editing some videos or browsing internet. As for gaming, it can work too. Actually, I didn't have any problems with that. That's because of the material of the surface of this trackpad, because this surface is super smooth, light, and your finger just flying over it. But of course, if you're playing like Contra Counter-Strike, it's not an option for you, but it's obvious, right? Also, I use this trackpad in Apple keyboard with my Steam Deck, and I must say it's like OP because it's all wireless, pretty convenient to use, and actually it's pretty good to use. And you can play some games on the Steam Deck too. For example, I played Oblivion and it was okay. And for example, if you didn't know, guys, Valve just announced Steam Machine, which is PC, so using Steam Machine with those accessories, Apple accessories, might be pretty good. Okay, let's talk about pros and cons of this trackpad. Let's start from pros. So it's super light, clean, and looks really good. Look at that. It has a big surface to work with, so your finger doesn't slip off from this surface, never. Actually, I have not experienced that yet. Probably I won't. The next is a lot of gestures and some settings options. You also have a force touch right here, and it's pretty convenient. With this force touch, you can rename some documents pretty quick. You can quick look with this, and my favorite feature is to look up with this. So you can hover over some word, press it harder, and lookup window will appear. If you're reading, for example, it can be pretty cool. The next is battery life. The battery life is good, so maybe it can last months or even more if you don't forget to switch this off. Actually, my previous mouse lasts like months, but it doesn't have so many features like this thing has. And it's actually pretty convenient to work with, so I haven't experienced any problem with working in every aspect of my work. Editing is good, super good, much better than with mouse. Playing games, also cool. Of course, it's pretty hard to play also with this thing, but I know some crazy guys who can play on 100% with this thing. But let's talk about downside of it. So the one downside of it is if you need to do something detailed, super detailed, like, I don't know, drawing with brush. By the way, you can do it with 3 fingers drag. Pretty convenient, I must say. Much easier than just holding it. And maybe that's it. Oh, and also one huge downside. Actually, it affects every accessory of Apple, like keyboard or trackpad, is the Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth here is terrible. So you can't switch between devices with one single trackpad. So it's impossible for me, for example, use it on my Mac Mini and then switch immediately to my Steam Deck to play some games. And the same goes with the keyboard. So actually that's the software problem. Maybe someday in the future Apple will fix that because it's so annoying. If you want to connect this trackpad to another device, you have to switch off, switch back on, then search it on the Bluetooth on the other device and then connect it. And when you will try to go back to the Mac Mini, for example, it may connect actually, but it may not. So that's the huge hole which Apple has to patch. So you may ask, do you need to switch it to the trackpad or stay with the mouse? So we have a few options. If you're a traveler and you travel with Mac Mini setup like me, trackpad is meta because it's so lightweight and so thin, and you can use it on every surface without needing to carry with you mouse pad. If you're working at home and you have a desktop setup, it's better to use the trackpad as your additional device because sometimes some tasks can be done much convenient with the trackpad than with the mouse. And the third type of people who play Counter-Strike or some FPS games. So yeah, you don't need it. But it's for common use, trackpad is super cool. In the next video, I will show you my portable display, which is super cheap, light and compact. And if you're traveling too, you should buy this display. And don't forget to watch this video and don't forget to subscribe.